Joining me now is the Democratic Congressman of Illinois, Krishnamoorthi. He's a member of the House Oversight Committee, which has been leading the charge on accountability in the Epstein case. Congressman, great to see you. Thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Ali.
Look, the administration didn't even really try hard to give a reason why they didn't meet the deadline. But even if they did, let's just talk about the letter of the law part. This administration came into office, Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, all saying they were going to get to the bottom of it. Pam Bondi even said the files were on her desk in February, I think. In other words, this is not a surprise. A month ago, the fact that they would have to come up with actual files is not a surprise to anyone. So they're sort of arguing that they only had a month to get this ready. That's not really true.
No, they had plenty of time. And certainly they had the last 30 days to have a focused effort to kind of get everything ready for release. Look, this was an F minus effort. It was a joke. Their lack of investigative files, lack of financial records, at least 500 pages were completely redacted. I went onto the site and I typed in the words of various people that I knew should have been in the files, and they didn't come up, including Trump. And so let's just remember why we're here. I mean, the survivors of this ghastly child sex trafficking conspiracy, 1,000+ people who are now middle-aged women came to us, and they still haven't gotten the justice they deserve. And so it's stiffened the resolve of Democrats and Republicans to get to the bottom of what happened. We must have these files, Ali.
So I'm intrigued by this because you said it stiffened the spines of Democrats and Republicans. This is about as bipartisan as it gets. There are a few topics that reach this level of bipartisan cooperation. So at some point, who's fighting whom? I'm not clear on this. I'm not clear what Todd Blanche and Pam Bondi and Kash Patel get out of whatever it is that they're doing, whatever we're not seeing.
I think it's basically loyalty to Trump. Even Republicans, in the House, I think they are expecting a lot more from the White House in terms of the production of these files. I think that this is top of mind for a lot of constituents. They get it. They understand this. Unlike with a lot of other issues, they want accountability from the president for this one. And unfortunately, this president feels he's unaccountable to the citizenry for anything he does. And whereas perhaps he may get away with it on certain other issues, on this one, I think that the public pressure is so high. I don't think he's gonna escape their wrath here.
I was talking to Congressman Raskin last night, and he said the one piece of this that's actually transparent and clear is Ghislaine Maxwell. That's the one thing we know is actually going on. She is trying to get commutation based on an interview that got her a much better situation in prison as a convicted sex offender.
That's right. I have a resolution actually before the House to basically reject any form of clemency, any leniency for Ghislaine Maxwell, given that she's a liar, she's a convicted sex trafficker, and yet the president is entertaining this, I think. I think he's basically kind of dangling it in return for potentially further fabricated testimony on her part. And that's deeply, deeply troubling. And she should not get any leniency whatsoever.
Congressman, I don't know what to use as an example. Certainly none in recent memory come to mind. What do you do when a bill was passed? It was not easy to get that discharge petition and then get this bill passed that the Senate passed, that Donald Trump signed, and the Justice Department just won't abide by it. What is the remedy for that?
There are various tools at our disposal. One is court action, and we've seen that court action can work. For instance, with regard to ICE, we filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration to mandate that we be able to inspect ICE detention facilities. Just yesterday, after my 4th try visiting an ICE detention center, I was able to use the court decision that was handed down favorably in our favor to go and tour this ICE detention facility. In addition, we can use the appropriations process to kind of withhold funding. We can hold up nominees in the Senate. There are a number of tools. The latter do require some bipartisanship, but I think on this particular issue of the Epstein files, there may be that bipartisanship to, basically demand that they comply with the law.
Congressman, good to see you as always. Thank you for joining us. The Democratic Congressman of Illinois, Raja Krishnamoorthi.